Hi guys, I'm going to continue on with our Sketchpad intro. So this is part 2. And we are going to talk about all of these lovelies in the tool panel. So if your tool panel is not open, open your tool panel and you can click on this right here. It may have a different image. It's whatever you've selected here. And then over here, when you click on this and the arrow, you get a lot of different options for your brushes. So we have a tile brush, a pencil, a pen, paintbrush, line, path. We're going to get to line and paths here in a little bit. Maybe that'll be our next lesson. But for now, we're going to focus on paintbrush, pen, pencil. And we'll jump into some of these other ones that are kind of fun and just kind of get to know what these do. And then we'll do some more specific how do you apply what little bit you know with this program. So let's get started with the pencil. So select your pencil. And again, we have a fill option, an outline option. You have percentages. Most of the time when you use the pencil tool or the paintbrushes, you will probably just be using the outline because that's basically that line that you're putting down. You can have paint into layer or not. I'm going to just turn mine off for the moment. And then I still haven't shown you what this normal thing is. We'll get into that, I think, today, and that way you can see some of that fun stuff. So let's get started. So what you have down at the bottom is size. I'm going to keep my outline color for black at the moment at 100%. And right now my size is 1px. Px stands for pixel. It's a very small unit of measurement. So a 1px. So what you're going to do is I want you to just use your mouse, or if you don't have a mouse, see if you can write in cursive just for fun. So that's kind of fun. So that is how thick a 1 pixel sized pencil would be. If you bring you can see that if it gives you a sample there in the screen, and it's going to get thicker the more you go to the right. So the right goes up to 250 pixels, which is humongous. And if you want to just try that for a second and just see what that does, that is actually the size of your brush. Yes, it is pretty big, and you can cover up your entire square with that. So what I did, I forgot to let you know, to get started, I did go in, I clicked new, and then I have it still set up for the Instagram, 640 pixels square, and I chose blank. All right, so sorry about that. If you're playing around again, remember we have our layers. We went over that the last time. I'm going to go back to my background just for starters, or maybe my first pencil. Or actually, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my tools. So you can tell that if I have something selected, so here I have part of my type selected and I'm just playing around with the size. You can change it after you've already done it. So if you want to just do something in that one point, if you want to do something like Ohio, if you select it like this with the select tool, you're in the editing mode. And if you click on those triple dots there to the right of editing, you will see that we have the send to back, send to front, send forward, send backwards, cut, copy, paste, duplicate, delete, download, and convert to a stamp. We'll get into stamps in a minute, so don't jump ahead. But you can also go down here. You can change the color while you have it selected. So if I want this beautiful crimson color, which goes with Ohio State football, you can click on your size and you can increase the size while it's already selected. All right. You can go ahead with your selection tool. Again, you put your cursor near a corner, you get that double arrowed curve going on, and that shows you that you can rotate it. So I can click here outside of that corner and rotate. If I click on a corner, I can size it. If you just go with this, you can stretch it. If you just do one on either the horizontal line in the middle or the vertical line in the middle, you can stretch it. Oop, I'm grabbing too many things. This is where having things on separate layers is very helpful. All right, so I'm going to go back to here. So I can go in here and I can make it bigger, smaller. And again, I can click on just the single arrow to stretch it and that type of thing. All right, so that's our pencil. Here's another trick is while you have something selected, so I'm going to get rid of my hello here. You can just hit your delete key to delete things. And delete that little thing. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is while I am here, I am going to select a different tool. So I'm going to go with the calligraphy tool and try my pen. All right, I'm going to click off. Go back to your paintbrush area, your different tools. I've chosen calligraphy, and I'm going to change the color just so I can see the difference. So you can choose your color, and you've got size, and you have a tip angle. So when you are, I'm going to actually go in here and turn my pencil layer off. All right. So you can see that it makes how it changes, just like you had an ink pen. To, if you remember the pen tool that we used with the bottle of ink, it has that same effect, type of like a writing pen. So I'm going to change the tip angle a little bit. I might increase my size. So you can see the tip angle is this. So like as you drag it a different way, how does that stroke react? So if I go this way, you can see that it's a little more extreme. I'm just going to change my tip angle. So you can see how skinny it gets. All right, I'm going to undo, get back to here. So if I just went right alongside this one, so you can see how extreme it gets. All right, so that's your calligraphy and the pencil. Let me switch colors here real quick. And let's do the mirror brush. What the mirror brush does is it reflects what you're doing. Look at this. That's pretty fun. So if we are working on some radials, that is radial symmetry at its finest. If you're ever trying to figure something out, you could even go in here and you could change another color. With your mirror brush, you can change the size. You can change how many sides are happening. I'm going to take my size down to 1 pixel and watch this. I'm going to take it. I'm starting here and pulling down, so you don't have to always start from the center and drag out. Let me see what else I've got here. I'm just going to change my sides, change my color. So I'm going to pick up where I left off here. And if I go back out and it does some more stuff, you can see it just keeps adding. It's like a big spider web. So that is what that does. So pretty cool. What, I don't know if this would be a good example of the normal. Let me just back up a second. I am going to show you the modes here. So, but it does do better with the shape. Jump into your shape a second. So while we have all this craziness going on, make sure that you have a solid color fill just for this step, and that you are at, let's do our first one at 100%. And I'm going to turn off my outline. You can just click on the teardrop or the paint drop there. That'll set it to 0, so I don't want an outline. All right. I'm going to a big heart here. And I am going to do, let's do a gear just for fun. I'm going to, by the way, if you want brown, you will see there's no brown on here in the preset colors. If you start with orange and you go down here, actually go with gold. If you go with gold, you can get pretty close to a decent brown. All right, I'm going to put a gear there, a gear here. And I'm going to set on this top one. I'm going to make, let's do a gear that is 40%. And let me change my color to gold. And I'm going to overlap all of this. Now, here is the fun part, okay? So right now, everything is 100% on normal mode. So let's find out what those other modes do. So the modes are these right here, where it says normal. And again, you can find the modes. You can use them with shapes. You can use them with paintbrushes, type. You can use it across the board. So here's what in the world these things do. I'm going to use my selection tool. I am going to click on a shape because I want to make only one shape active with this. You can hold your shift key and click multiple shapes. You can also click, ooh, that went a little crazy. You can shift click. We'll just shift click. How about that? So I'm just using this one here and this one here. We're going to change our blending mode. Let's change it to multiply, see what happens. So what's happening is whatever that is, that top thing that you've put on, that you're changing that blending mode, it's allowing the colors from that object to interact with the colors beneath it. So that's why you see that shape at the bottom of your heart. And you can see it darker in here, and you can see, I can see objects behind it. So I can see all these lines, they've changed color. All right, let's try something different. Go and try lighten. You can see that you've got a whole different look. Try soft light. Again, you're still seeing interaction. Let me grab this guy. I'm going to change him. So we've got soften on the others. Let's try exclusion. So now you're seeing just a completely different thing. So these, again, the modes, color modes, allow you to exchange the colors and how they operate within each other, but they have to be overlapping. If you have an object over here and an object over here, you're not going to see anything happen. So you can do, try color burn. You can get some pretty cool effects. Paint behind, erase, paint atop. If I want to go back over here and grab a pencil tool, I could do something like that. And then if I wanted to, let me select it. All right, so you can do that to lines. You could do luminosity. So again, it's interacting with the colors behind it. Let me get rid of those. All right. So I'll do the heart here. This will be fun. So we'll do color. Look at that. So this disappears. You just see this heart kind of shape. All right. So that's what's fun about those color modes. So now you know what they are, how to use them. All right, back to our tools. I am actually going to go back into my layers a second. Let's delete. We're going to go back, and I'm just going to click on background. Actually, I'm going to select. Again, you can hold shift, select, and I can select all of those layers, and I can simply hit my delete key to clear my background. All right, back here. So we have checked out pencil tool, mirror brush, calligraphy. Let's see Well, and we did pen. Well, no, we didn't do pen. Let's do pen. Pen tool. Let me grab a different color. So if you look here, when I chose that, it shows you what it's going to look like. This is pen tool. And again, you can change size. It gives you a size difference. You can see that you've got two sizes to work with, a smaller size and then a larger size to work between. So if I increase that, here's what I'm going to get. So I've got something that looks like that. Again, you can change all of your opacities and your blending modes. We have a tile brush. Tile brush is kind of fun. And by the way, on these colors, you can still go in and do your radials, your linears. You know, if I wanted a rainbow, go for a rainbow. Go for the rainbow. So it looks kind of cool, actually. So if you wanted to put a fill in, you could put a fill. Let me see if I can just show you this. So I'll do a gray. And what the fill does is it's going to connect. So you're going to see right there that there's like the lines go and they stop, but then there's the fill inside. So you can always, with your selection tool, select that shape. If it's something you've done and you're like, I don't like that, or I forgot that was on, select your shape, go back over to fill, and set your fill opacity to 0. Just click on that little teardrop shape next to it and just get rid of it. Okay. All right. Your size of your tile brush, you can change that. You can see right there that just increases that. Tile mode is stretch. You also have repeat and repeat and mirrored repeat. So we can just do, you can see that repeat. It takes that color grouping and it just kind of repeats it that way. Mirrored repeat kind of flips it. So you can see kind of how that works. If I go here, let's try radial. So that's what that would look like. And here's what pattern would look like as soon as I can get there. Woo, that's a crazy pattern. And again, you can change your size. So you could have this really big pattern going on and that type of thing. All right, I'm going back to solid color and dragging it down. So that again is tile brush. All right, let's keep going. We are going to try streamer. And I'm going to use a different color for this so we can see the difference. Let me get out of where I'm at here. If you click off into the gray space, normally it'll take you out. It'll deselect what you're selected on. However, it's real easy to accidentally select back on again. So I'm going to, again, go back over here to streamer. And you're going to see that the reason it's streamer, it's like how a streamer goes and it's thick and thin and draws something out. That's basically what you're getting. You again have a size option. You can go from 0 to 61. Actually, you can go much larger. So you can get a greater difference happening in your strokes. And let me go back in here and select these all again and just get rid of them. That way we have a clean slate. Back to streamer. All right. So this is what streamer does, is you've got the thicks and thins to kind of make it looks like it's flowy. All right, next. So that's streamer. We figured that out. Crayon. We'll put in something fun here. So crayon has like this kind of scratchy effect. If you look, it almost looks like a little star. I'm going to, so it kind of has like some residual, when you put the crayon on the paper, it has that look of like that texture. So that's what you're going after there. Again, you can go in here and we can try difference. If it's selected, that always helps. So I like to just do my different, I like to do my color modes after I've created stuff, and then I like to go back and play around with how those colors interact and those shapes. So maybe I've got disco. That's funny. There's your disco. They're kind of fun. They're fun to play around with. All right, let's get to paintbrush. And I'm going to change colors once again to orange and paintbrush. This is a really big paintbrush. You have a blur to it. Let's do something here. Let me go back. Undo, 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 undo. All right. Whoa. There we go. Paintbrush. And down here at the bottom, you can blur it. I've got mine at 10%. This is a really big brush. I'm going to bring it down. So here's what the blur does. Here's the difference. So you can actually kind of blend it. I'm going to use a couple of different colors here. All right, so if I go in with blur, you can see that I can get kind of a softer look to it. So it just kind of, it can give me just kind of a real dreamy over, almost like a spray can. And it just depends on how much of the blur you put onto it. I mean, I could put it clear over here at 100%, and then I'm just getting this real soft, watch, I'll just put it over here. So you can see, this is a really great way if you want to paint like a sunset, or if you just want to give it a nice kind of soft tone in the background, or maybe you have a winter scene where you want, or it's foggy, like driving to school every day. No. So you can kind of give it a mist of white. So you could change that to white and make it misted. So it's a good tool. All right. Next. So that was with blur. If I don't use blur, then that's what I get right there. And you can do a lot with the paintbrush tool. Stamp tool is kind of fun. You've got all kinds of these. So when you open stamp, you have more options. And the more options show up right below where it says stamp tool. And if you click on the arrow, you're going to get all of your stamps. And you're going to have fun with this one. I can tell already. So if you scroll through here, and you can make your own stamp, but we'll do that on a total different lesson. So you can see here I've got, so maybe I want frogs. The fun thing with this is you can just click once to get one image. Down here at the bottom of your tools, you have size, scale, and rotation. And what in the world that means, I'm going to just jump up here a second, is I can paint with this guy. So I can click once for the image, or I can spray and drag it. I can drag that line. Let me go green because he should be a frog. There we go. Now, how your rotation is, it just gives it so that when you paint with it, it's flipping it back and forth, so it's not super repetitive. If you want it more repetitive, you can drop that down so that, and if you don't want the scale, so let's say I just want them all the same size. I'm going to increase my size so you can see. So how fast you drag it across your page will spread it out, or if you drag it slower, we'll keep them all together. Okay. So again, the scale. Kind of does that. Rotation. All right. So that's fun too. And yes, you can go in here. I need to select it. And you can change your blending mode so that it interacts again. These colors interact with the colors beneath them. And again, you have a bunch. If you have something in mind, if I'm like, right now I'm thinking Christmas. So you could type in Christmas and there's no results. Fancy. So you could put in trees. And it's going to give you all types of trees, leaves, that type of thing. So maybe I just want a big Christmas tree, or maybe, I don't know. You can do a lot of different things with that. All right, so that again is your stamp tool. Next is your spray paint. So once again, I am going to select all this stuff because it's become way too cluttered, and hit delete. Shift to select more than one layer. Go back and click on your tools. Click on your spray paint tool. Again, fill an outline and size. I'm just going to grab this. You can see what it does. It kind of gives you a really cool. So if you go fast, it's going to be more spread out, just like we just did on the stamp tool. If you go a little slower, you will have a little more area that you can cover. Okay. So once again, if I go in here, here's my disco. So you can get some fun stuff. You know, this could be a great background and then if I'm going to show you later how you can put in a photograph, or you can put your drawing in. Maybe this is just a really good way for you to make something to go in behind a slide. If you're doing a slideshow of your work, or if you're just putting together a slideshow for something, I don't know, making a background for something. All right, that's spray paint. It's pretty self-explanatory. Fur is kind of fun. I'm going to bring this down. The fun thing is I can go through here and I can just click and drag in this rainbow area to find the color area that works for what I want. So that creates my color. So if I want fur, you can do single like this, or you can click and drag. You will change line width and size. So maybe I want it thicker. Maybe I want it thinner but bigger. So maybe you are doing your dog and you just want to put in some fur. Here's what I would recommend this one for is if you're doing fur, you know, maybe you go in and you're using the same color, but you remember how I said we can use our darker tones and shades to add some depth. You could even go in and add a lighter tone. And if worst case scenario is you can grab your selection tool and click on one of them and then start to do, you know, soft light or, you know, color dodge, or you can really have some fun with this. Almost looks like pine needles. So that is fur. That's about all there is to that. I am going to show you the web, and then I might stop there. You do have an eraser. So eraser is at the bottom. You can go in. Hold on. Let me get that. And if you click on things, it keeps jumping out. I think eraser is better when you're painting. Again, I like just to go in here. If you hold shift, select you can delete a layer in between. So if I want this one gone, then I just click on it and hit delete. Or you can just turn it off, turn the eye off. So I'm going to just get rid of them and go back to this tool. Let's go down to that. Whoops. We'll go to the web. And so what web does is it puts a web in between, just like a spider would, when you have areas that touch and create. So you could, let me undo that. So if you wanted to write your name, you could write your name out. It's kind of fun, but you can see that all of those webs go in those little cubby holes and the little areas. But you can change your line width and your spread and kind of play around with that. Spirograph is kind of fun. Let me grab it. So you can see that's what Spirograph does. You can change line width, size, radius, increments, and then iterations. So if I don't want as many iterations. So you can kind of have fun with these. These are just, there are just certain times you would use these. I wouldn't use them all the time, but. All right, I think that's enough for today. We will pick up on our next lesson and learn a few more tips and tricks. And then I think we'll be ready to start making some cool stuff. So hope you guys learned something, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.